Hello, I'm Mantastic and Fantastic, and today I'm going to be taking a closer look at Super Fall of Attack Awakening as well as Zela. So, Super Fall of Attack has been in the game for quite some time, but when it was first released, it was almost like a meme or a joke because regular Fall of Attack already existed, and it was very efficient at what it did. A single column of 5 hard orbs on a 6x5 board would produce the pinging follow-up damage to execute any resolve spawn. So by having Super Fall of Attack exist requiring 9 instead of 5 hard orbs made it much harder to manage from basically any given board, as well as the 2 damage follow-up was kind of seen as like, are there going to be like super resolves that would survive at 2 health? But that never came out, and maybe they thought perhaps with a 3x3 box you can make rows above and below, but again, rows never really took off. So for the most part, Super Fall of Attack Awakening was largely ignored. For myself, I basically ignored it in the vast majority of scenarios, especially when playing through traditional content, because I'm much more likely to have a board with 5 hard orbs as opposed to a board with 9. Now, as of late, I feel that, or more so moving forward, I feel that Super Fall of Attack Awakenings are going to start making a bit of a resurgence, mostly because we're starting to see leader skills that want to actually utilize blobbing. So blobbing does fulfill that, so 9 hard orbs does fulfill that requirement. We also have the ability to inherit Super Fall of Attacks via weapon assist. There's several weapon assists, most notably the Typhon card within the Gung-Ho collab Palag machine provides a Super Fall of Attack Awakening, as well as the Onin card actually gaining 2 times personal damage when matching that 3x3 heart box. But perhaps the most important reason is because Zela does exist. So at this point in time, I've rarely used Super Fall of Attack Awakening. I pretty much only used it for ranking dungeons where the style points would give me bonus 1500, or for niche farming setups where I would use something like a Raphael board plus a double row maker to make a 7x7 combo board with a 3x3 box for the follow-up attack. But other than those situations, I rarely used it. But moving forward, I do feel it's going to see more usage because Zela is starting to become much more relevant, and her board changer of both hearts and wood cannot be necessarily solved without the Super Fall of Attack if you want resolve and VDP. So, in a vacuum, Zela is, in my opinion, the strongest sub in the game. And when I say in a vacuum, I mean just discrediting any leadership pairing. Just looking at the card itself in terms of their awakenings, weighted stats, the synergies, what they can bring with their kit through their active skill, and basically what they bring to the team. So, at this point in time, Zela has a regular Fall of Attack, a VDP, a powerful active skill that gives +2 combos and a bicolor of hearts and wood, along with 777 combo. So she has incredibly high personal damage. She has the ability to execute resolve spawns. She can penetrate through spawns. Her board changer allows for much easier solves overall. So the main issue with Zela was that she lacked leaders a couple of months ago. A couple of months ago, she had no real good home to be used on. But with the surprise introduction of Shaman King, and as well as Dark Razor now coming to North America, and the strong likelihood that Zela Kitty will also be here, Zela now has tremendous value as a stellar sub on any of those 3 strong wood teams. So, Zela's 777 combo gives her 8 times personal damage when hitting 7 or more combos, which is done on mostly a regular basis, and it's just going to allow her to deal massive amounts of damage. And this is partially one reason why a lot of people like to run, if possible, multiple Zelas on a given team. But if you take advantage of her VDP Super Awakening, her personal damage jumps up to 20 times, 8 times for the 7 combos, times 2.5 for the VDP, and that itself might be just enough to actually execute a spawn without relying on burst inherits. Furthermore, if you are running multiple Zelas, you're going to have even more penetration damage. It just keeps getting higher and higher, and it's just amazing. But what really is going to set her apart from the competition is that she can inherit a Super Fall of Attack Awakening via a weapon assist. So Zela's board is a great solution for VDPing and Super Fall of Attacking because it produces a board of hearts and wood. And if you're trying to make a VDP and a regular Fall of Attack on that given board, it is possible, but the problem is you have to have a 12 or 13 hard orb distribution, which is quite unlikely. But if you want to go for VDP and Super Fall of Attack Awakening, you need to have between 12 and 18 hearts. Significantly more leeway. It's almost always going to be available from a given board, so it's much more consistent overall. So the reason why you want to VDP with Fall of Attacking or Super Fall of Attacking is because most endgame spawns now feature Void and Resolve. And being able to combat both of those at the same time on a consistent basis is what makes leaders very strong. Right now, I'm playing with Dark Karen quite a bit because she's such an efficient farmer for Arena 5 because she can easily VDP and follow up attack without having to worry about hitting the higher combo counts because she has high personal damage. This same can apply to Zela's, except you are going to hit the combo counts required because Zela does give +2 combos with her active. So if you're matching, like you're making a 3x3 box here, 3x3 box here of wood and hard orbs, and then just alternating combos above it, you're going to be hitting 5 combos, if 5 or more combos, assuming you have the 12 to 18 distribution, and that's +2 with Zela, which means you hit the 7 combos, you hit the VDP, you hit the follow-up attack, and get the super follow-up attack bonus damage on top of it. So Zela would then experience 40 times personal damage, plus her killer latents if applicable. Basically, you're going to be dealing tremendous amounts of damage, and you're going to have a much easier time. And in theory, if you are playing with a Zela Kitty as leaders, if that does come to North America, you would actually have another 2 combos added on because of Zela Kitty's leader skills. So you have so much combo count and damage output, and this is the reason why super follow attack is going to be much more efficient for these types of teams. The same logic can apply to elsewhere, but Zela tends to be the strongest option overall. And if you want to take this one step further, using Yo's weapon assist from the Shaman King collab is going to be able to grant you the super follow attack, which we want, as well as 20% jammer, poison, and blind resistance. And with all of those resistances, you're basically mimicking Trojan Horse. So you have 2 Yos, say on your 2 Zelas in an ideal world, then you can just fill in a 60% weapon from the Monster Hunter collab, and you can cover any element you or any mechanic you wish to have. So for Arena 5, for instance, you use 2 Yos, you use a Monster Hunter for blind, Monster Hunter for jammers, have a Fujin inherited elsewhere, also have a Skyfall buff elsewhere, and then you basically cover all the mechanics required for the dungeon, and as well as having 40% poison orb resistance and that super follow attack to ensure you can VDP and resolve kill at the same time, which is basically the hallmarks of a strong leader at this point in time in the game. So in conclusion, super follow attack is most likely going to start seeing a bit more value or merit just because Zela has finally found a strong home for herself, as well as Yo's weapon assist just being a tremendously strong example of how to abuse the super follow attack while still having valuable resistances against the common mechanics. So let me know what you think about this article in the comments below. Do you think these types of videos and or articles are interesting, as well as how do you plan to use super follow attack, or if you have actually been using it beforehand at this point in time. So hopefully you have a fantastic day. I wish you all the best luck in your own pad adventures, and happy puzzling.